The silence in Onicha today wasn't ordinary quiet. It was the kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. The kind that speaks louder than rallies, press conferences, or campaign promises. If you stood at Ape this morning, or looked down from the pedestrian bridge near Onicha Main Market, what you would see would feel unreal. A commercial city that never sleeps, asleep. Wide roads with no honking buses. Markets with their gates flung open but no human activity inside. And in that eerie stillness, one message echoed without a single word being spoken: the streets made their choice. Today, Monday, February 2nd, 2026, was supposed to be a comeback day. A reset. Governor Soludo had drawn a hard line in the sand. Last week, he shut down the Onicha Main Market for 7 days, calling it punishment for traders who observed the sit-at-home order. He said the era of fear was over. He said the markets would reopen today, and everyone must return to business. Open your shop or lose it. No excuses. No negotiations. Police deployed. Soldiers deployed. Vigilantes mobilized. Civil servants warned: no work, no pay. On paper, it looked like a show of authority. On the streets, it collapsed. Yes, the market gates were open. That part is true. But inside, locked shops. Endless rows of padlocks. Emma Over Plaza shut tight. Osokodu Market deserted. What should have been chaos was instead calm, controlled, almost organized. Not a riot. Not a protest march. Just absence. A collective decision to stay away. This wasn't fear running wild. This was defiance with discipline. Across Onicha, reports flowed in from our correspondents. From Kpo to Nui, from Ewelobia to Oka, the story was the same. Empty streets. Closed shops. A total shutdown that mocked every assurance of maximum security. It was as if the people said, "You can unlock the doors, but you cannot unlock our will." And that's where today crossed from being a security story into something much bigger. Earlier, IPOB spokesperson Emma Powerful had announced what he called a Biafra solidarity strike. No threats. No violence. Just a call. And the response was overwhelming. The traders didn't just stay home because they were afraid. They stayed home because they were angry. Angry that their livelihoods were used as leverage. Angry that a government decision turned their survival into a punishment. When you shut a market to prove a point, you don't just close stalls. You close mouths that need feeding. And when you reopen it with threats instead of trust, you don't inspire loyalty. You ignite resistance. Inside government circles, we are hearing that the mood is anything but calm. Sources around the government house in Oka describe a tense atmosphere. Frustration. Disbelief. Anger. This was supposed to be the day Soludo broke the sit-at-home cycle. Instead, the cycle swallowed his authority whole. Officials are calling it sabotage. They are blaming social media. They are pointing fingers at non-state actors. But here's the uncomfortable truth: fear alone does not produce total compliance. Solidarity does. Look at the videos circulating online. No burning tires. No gunfire. No stampede. Just quiet streets and locked doors. If this was only about fear, a few traders would have tested the waters. Someone would have opened. But nobody did. That's not panic. That's coordination. The police issued statements urging people to come out. Patrol vans cruised through empty roads. Armed men stood guard over markets with no traders to protect. The irony was painful. Maximum security for zero activity. And the cost? Massive. Billions of naira lost in a single day. A regional economy stalled at the push of a button. But for the average trader, the calculation was simple. Disobeying the streets felt more dangerous than disobeying the governor. That's why today hit so hard. Nnamdi Kanu, despite being in detention and despite conflicting reports about his transfers and status in 2026, still exerts influence that leaves analysts scratching their heads. From behind bars, his name alone was enough to keep one of West Africa's busiest commercial hubs completely shut down. And now we arrive at the question nobody in power wants to answer. Who really controls the streets of the Southeast today? Is it the governor armed with the Constitution, security agencies, and executive orders? Or is it a detained separatist leader whose voice still moves markets without a single physical appearance? Governor Soludo is boxed into a corner. If he carries out his threat and revokes thousands of shop allocations, the backlash could be explosive. You don't dispossess 10,000 traders and expect calm. But if he backs down, he looks powerless. A governor whose orders can be ignored in broad daylight without consequences. Abuja is watching too. IPOB has already accused Soludo of acting as a proxy for federal interest against the Southeast economy. By staying away today, traders weren't just defying Oka. They were sending a signal to Abuja itself. And this isn't just an Anambra story. Reports from Abia, Enugu, Imo, and Ebonyi show partial to full compliance with today's order. The message traveled far. The governors of the region now face a bigger challenge than security deployments. They must rebuild trust. And trust, once broken, doesn't return on command. As the sun sets on a quiet Onicha, one thing is undeniable. Sit-at-home is no longer just a security concern. It has evolved into a political weapon. And today, that weapon was deployed with chilling efficiency. The question now is what happens next. Will traders return tomorrow? Will the government escalate tonight? Will there be dialogue or more threats? We are watching closely. Because what unfolds next may define the balance of power in the Southeast for years to come. Keep it locked right here.